ina-appreciate natin yung SB Sept Recto, yung 1006 dahil malaking tulong po ito sa mga government employees na sa kasalukuyan, kasi yung kay Senator Bongo, kung ibibigay man siya at 1 tranche, nakita natin na 20 pesos per day lang yung increase na nakikita natin araw-araw tumataas sa mga bilihin at kung mga rank and file, salary grade 1 at 10, pati yung ating mga nurses, ay talagang umaalis na sa ating bansa dahil napakababa ang sahod. Sa ngayon po, kung titingnan kung iikot ang sa mga hospitals, ang mga nurses, ang mga health workers, ay nakasala yung mga ATM nila sa kasalukuyan. So, kailangan talagang itaas at maganda kahit tatlong tranches yan, yung kay Senator Recto na SB 1006, malaking tulong na po ito doon sa mga government employees kasama mga health workers. Para sa ngayon nga, kung titingnan natin yung mga nurses natin nag-aalisan na, nagpupulan na tayo ng mga nurses. Ang ibang nurses natin nasa call center na, mas mataas pa ang sahod kumpara doon sa mga nasa public hospitals. Lalong-lalo na yung mga devolved health workers. Pagkanong sa taga-dati ko lang ng Isabela, ang sweldo ng isang nurse ay 150 per day. And then, minsan naghahati pa ng job order. So nakakawa. Mayroong mga nurses din dahil nagtitipid ang LGUs dahil devolved of health services. Ang item nila is nursing attendant, pero nag-function sila as mga nurses, regular nurses. So kailangan talaga itaas na po para hindi na tayo iwanan ang ating mga health workers sa ating bansa.
Actually, yun ang isa sa mga rason kung bakit natin ginagawa ito ngayon. Para hindi umalis yung ating mga kababayan, pumunta pa sa ibang bansa, doon sila magtrabaho, magpahirap, napapalayo pa sa kanilang pamilya. Talagang yun ang ating ginagawa ng solusyon. Kaya, as much as possible, ang ating gobyerno, nandito po kami, mga senador ninyo, upang tingnan yung mga ganyang problema. At yan po yung ating aaksyonan. Okay, sino po? Jocelyn Martinez, National Chairperson of HCT.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat din sa pag-recognize sa mga guro sa panahon ngayon na National Teachers Month. Sa datos po, ngayong June 2019, there are 93.3% of the 287,730 teachers. They are teachers 1, 2, and 3. Na nagpo-fall po yan sa salary grade 11, salary grade 12, and salary grade 13. At among the professionals in the public sectors, yung kami pong mga teachers talaga ang may pinakamababang salary grade. Our net take-home pay cannot even take us home. Sa loob po ng tatlong tranches nung nakaraang EO201, sir, ang salaries po ng teacher 1 ay hindi pa po umaabot ng 20 pesos per month. So, mas malaki pa po yung itinaas ng train law kesa dun sa increase namin, sir. At part ng salary po namin, sir, nagagastos pa po namin yan dun sa aming mga teaching supply materials.
We will discuss about the salary of teachers mamaya.
Opo. So, bahagi po nung sa sweldo ng lahat ng kawani yung teachers. Salamat po.
Yeah. Actually, dito sa SSL 5, meron na kayong portion na makukuha na, no? So, yung increase na yun, but we know it's not enough. That's why, meron pa tayong proposed bill in addition to that na tatrabahuin namin. Okay, ma'am, sige. Yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, Honorable Senators Joel and Gatchalian. Ako po ay Pangulo ng Public Services Labor Independent Confederation at gusto ko lang po nga ipahayag yung aming position dito sa dalawang bill on the proposed SSL 5. We commend both Senators Recto and Go and welcome the bills recognizing the strategic value of the services to nation building and ensuring the government work rendered by over 1 million civilian employees are recognized. So, ito po yung una po, we would like to take the salary adjustment of SB number 49 of Senator Recto, but the implementation ay isang bagsak lang po. because the increasing prices of commodities, inflation, and expenses of government employees do not occur in annual tranches. The impact of increases, however meager, are further diminished and hardly felt by government employees because it is spread in 3 years, 1 year less than the 4 years tranches of SSL 3 and 4. I'd like to join my colleague here in calling for the salary adjustment of salary grades 1 to 17 ho. Kasi napag-iwanan na po talaga ito, no? Dahil po doon in the past, ay puro across the board na 10% increase. So yung mas malaking sweldo, mas malaki po yung increase. At tumahabol po itong mga ito. So yung pangatlo po namin recommendation, Mr. Chair, the SSL 5 must be uniformly applied to local government units regardless of their classification based on the universal principle of equal pay for equal work and work of equal value. For example, the value of work performed by health workers or administrative staff in national agencies and the first-class cities and provinces should be the same as their counterpart in second to sixth class LGUs. Kasi it's difficult for these LGUs to retain and maintain their needed human resources if they are receiving less and receiving less for doing the same work under more challenging and difficult situations. Alam mo natin ang kondisyon sa mas mahirap na mga komunidad, lalo na sa health workers. Tapos bibigyan mo ng 35% less than their national counterparts. We cannot retain these people. No, katulad po ng sinabi ni Senator Gatchalian, bukod sa we lose them sa overseas, we lose them sa urban cities. So nag-gravitate po sa mga urban cities, hindi mo naman masisisi dahil yung katabi mo lang sila, mas mataas yung sweldo. By uniformly implementing SSL 5, it will incentivize employees to stay in their LGUs instead of migrating to first-class cities. Yung isa pong nakakawin dito, the personal services cap. May limit po yung personal services cap ng LGUs eh. Kaya po, it should be changed to make it meet space instead of fixing and imposing a one-size-fits-all PS cap and consequently resort to hiring employees performing core function under the exploitative arrangement of contract of service and job order. Kaya po dumami yung job order eh. Kasi lalampas po yung mga LGUs doon sa PS cap. Kaya pupunta sila sa MOOE. No? Kahit alam po natin, personal services, kina-charge doon sa maintenance and other operating expenses. Yung formula po for internal revenue, sinasabi ko po ito kasi link po ito sa capacity ng LGUs to pay for the increases. Yung formula po ng internal revenue allotment should be changed to make it equitable. Kasi po, yung matataas ng income na city, mas mataas yung share ng IRA. Yung mas mahirap, mas maliit yung share. So kumbaga, dun sa highly urbanized cities, yung kanilang share ng IRA, panghimagas. Pero dito sa poor municipalities, pambilid pa ng yan ng bigas. So ang laki po, hindi equitable yung IRA. If I may, we have been fighting this for all our life, to include contract of service and job order who are performing core function in NGAs, LUCs, LGUs, and GOCC in SSL 5 to prevent government from resorting to cheap labor and use maintenance and operating expenses to pay for the salary. Tapos po, number 5 po na recommendation po ng PSA, let's define which GOCC are not covered and covered by GAA. Kasi po hindi lahat ng GOCC kumikita. Halimbawa ho, yung Philippine Coconut Authority o yung similar agency, hindi naman ho kumikita yan eh. So pag in-exam po natin yan, paano gagawin natin doon sa mga ahensya niyo? So let's define talaga kung sino yung kumikita at kaya magbayad ng salary increase. No? So yung number 6 and last, Mr. Chair, PSLink welcomed the provision of SB number 49, Section 8, which provides for periodic review of the compensation and position classification system. We strongly recommend the full participation of most representative public sector union, federation, and confederation, and our proposed text is the DBM and the Civil Service Commission with the full participation of most representative public sector union, federation, and confederation shall review the compensation and position classification system every 2 years, develop and recommend to the President a competitive compensation and remuneration system which shall attract and retain the talent. I join Senator Gatchalian's call, no? Tama na ho yung pasahan ng bola ng BBM at saka ng CSC. Ang tagal na ho yan dapat yung study na yan, no? May study dati, yung dating proposed na GCA. Bakit hindi natin balikan nun? Kasi hindi lang po yung salary increase ang tingnan natin. Tingnan po natin yung career track ng mga civil servant. Kasi doon may technical track, may scientific track, may administrative track. Para po yung mga katulad po ng doktor, yun na lang yung level ng kanilang career. Lilipat po sa admin para lang po ma-promote. So dapat tingnan din po yung career pathing ng ating mga civil servant. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Take note of that. Yes.
Mr. Chair, if I may, first of all, I'd like to commend and acknowledge the efforts of our chair for calling this hearing, this very important hearing. And I also would like to put on record that I have bills to tackle today, SB number 151 and 152. Just to add to what Ms. Annie talking about. I remember when we were in TESDA, we were together in TESDA, we couldn't hire a lawyer, Mr. Chair, because the item for lawyer, hindi na po sumasapat doon sa present na kalakaran. But having said that, Mr. Chair, if I may ask, perhaps the civil service or BBM, as of 2019, what's the total number of government employees? And perhaps, let's break it down. The number of employees, ilan dyan po yung casual, ilan yung contractual, ilan yung job order, or contract of services basis sa ating buong bansa, ilan po yung total number?
BBM, you said, now you may answer.
The total number of employees is amounting to 1,823,228. This includes the military and uniform personnel.
Okay, that number includes contractual, casual, job order, no?
No regular employees.
No, regular employees. So how many lahat po? Lahat po, kasama na yung casual. Because if we're planning on something, we have to know all this data. Now, the next question would be, how many are in plantilla, how many are not?
The contractual employees are not part or counted as part of personnel.
We don't consider them as personnel, sir?
No, on our.
It's not part of the... Kaya ako, pagka ganun, sir, kasi mangyari ako contractual. Contractual na ako, 5 taon, 10 taon, 20 taon. Ayan, narinig nyo agad yung reaction. Masakit mo yun eh. Masakit mo yun eh. Tapos sasabihin mo sa, wala sila sa bilang namin. Hindi kami kasali sa computation lagi. Now, let me go on. Ilan mo yung plantilla items across all agencies that have been filled itong 2019, no? Taon po na ito na pinag-uusapan natin.
1,633,180.
1,633,000.
33,180.
Pero 1.8 kanina yung binanggit nyo,
Yes,
ano?
the unfilled is 190,000.
The unfilled is 190,000. Mr. Chair,
Kasi may nagre-retire, may
So, vacant yung position.
nagkakaroon ng vacancy.
so nagbabari po yan. Kasi dito sa aking record, ayan, narinig nyo agad yung violent reaction sa mga government workers. Yung staffing summary po for 2019, out of 1.8 million permanent positions in government, around 10%. So tama ho kayo, 190, no? Dito nga ho, 198,775. I'm not sure if this figure is correct. Unfilled po ito, remains unfilled. Am I correct, Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, the situation is even worse for some agencies, hindi lang 10%, Mr. Chair. For example, in DPWH, 11.4%. Is that a correct data? Please correct me if I'm wrong. In DOTR, it's 21.8%, Mr. Chairman. Now, what happens doon sa... Ang next question ko, merong CSC Memorandum Circular, number 14.
Omnibus Rules on Appointments and Other Human Resource Action, revised July 2018, enumerates the personnel appointed in the government. Sa DepEd, how many new positions? Ito nga, ito na tayo, moving forward, 2020. How many new positions are set to be created?
We can provide data after the committee hearing, Mr. Chair, because we will still be getting the data.
So if we don't have it,
At
it's still a
present,
ballpark figure.
wala pa po. Kasi we have created new departments. So, gagawin ka ng staffing pattern po.
And again, yan dyan kami nalilito sir, no? Pushing for right sizing, tapos creation of new departments. Hindi ko alam kung kayo rin nalilito, kami dito sa Senate nalilito. The economic managers are saying, no, we will not allow it. And then all of a sudden, when Senator Bongo filed creation of OFW department, bila nag-change of hearts yung mga iba't ibang departamento ng gobyerno. Nalilito ho kami, nahihirap po pagplano pagka ganyan. Nalilito rin po tayo. Now, let me go back dun sa sinabi mo natin kanina. Unfilled po itong 198,775. This is equivalent to how much money that we're talking about?
We don't even cannot estimate because those are based on different salary grades.
But we already know what position itong mga unfilled, di ba? So meron tayo dapat kaukulang. Anyway, Mr. Chair, just to not to hold this committee for long, Mr. Chair. Kanina ho, I was monitoring itong hearing, and we talk about yung fiscal space. But kami, I asked the Department of Finance kung implement po itong mga proposals, itong SB number 49 at 200. Do we need additional funds to fund these proposals, or meron tayong makikita na po pwedeng mag-fund nito?
Department of Finance.
Oh, DBM,
DBM,
perhaps,
DBM,
any idea about this?
For the first tranche, we have already included for the fiscal year 2020 the initial amount of 31.1 billion, Mr. Chair.
Will 31.1 billion enough?
For the first tranche, Mr. Chair.
For the first tranche. Oh, if you talk about the tranches, yeah. Anyway, for CSC, what is the country's plan? Kasi binanggit natin, napag-usapan din lang natin kanina, yung mga unfilled positions, yung, alam niyo, bilang chair ng Committee on Labor, kami ni Senwin, the last Congress, we worked very hard for security of tenure law. It was mentioned several times during Labor Day celebrations, mentioned in the State of the Nation address, and perhaps the most devastating fact is that it was even certified as urgent and priority measure of this administration. But unfortunately, all of us are aware it was vetoed. Vetoed, and the veto message still in general, and until now, I'm asking the economic managers what particular provisions they are complaining about. No one has actually pointed out what particular provision yung problema nila doon sa security of tenure bill. Having said that, punta tayo sa gobyerno because I have a similar measure sa mga government employees po natin. In fact, as I was listening attentively to Ma'am Annie, I remember filing a bill, and it's still in this. It's also in this committee, Mr. Chair, and I hope we'll be able to deliberate on this measure. Senate Bill number 709, or an act providing for a permanent appointment to all casual and contractual employees of the government, provided that they have rendered the prescribed years of service. Under this bill, all incumbent casual and contractual government employees who have rendered at least 5 years of exemplary and continuous service in the national government and 6 years of service in the case of local government units shall be entitled to permanent appointment, subject to the requirements of the Constitution, relevant civil service laws, and the merit selection plan of the concerned agency. Now let me go back to my point, Mr. Chair. Ano po ba yung plano natin sa gobyerno, itong ating gobyerno, to ensure that government get the best available talent? We have been talking about yung pumupunta sa ibang bansa. We have been talking, I think si Senator Win mentioned a while ago about Filipinos working for different embassies na ibang bansa, no? Kasi wala na tayong makita dito. So, ang tanong nga ho doon, yung mga nagtatrabaho ba doon, mas magagaling kaysa sa nagtatrabaho dito? Baka may study na tayong gano'n. Kasi, bakit nagpupunta ho doon? Napaka-obvious ng dahilan. Now, ano yung plano mo ng gobyerno? Kanina, I was also listening, yung mga studies natin, parang kulang na kulang, o worse, wala. Eh dito sa plano ng ating pamahalaan, our president's been talking about it, the importance of security of tenure, the whatever is what is enshrined in our constitution. Pero sabi ng private sector, every time we call a hearing dito sa Senado, eh kami pinapatapos niyo yung ENDO sa amin sa private sector. Eh ang biggest violator ng ENDO eh gobyerno. Paano naman kami? So, ang hirap i-preach yung ginagawa ko natin. So, again, just to be clarified on this, Mr. Chair, NEDA, CSC, ano yung plano ng ating pamahalaan? I mean, hanggang ngayon, in fact, just recently, couple of days or last week lang mo yata, during the DBCC, Secretary Fernandez saying, ang security of tenure, ang sa tingin niya dapat performance-based. Can you imagine that, Mr. Chair? So, again, I'd like to hear, siguro sa civil service, marinig din po natin, ano po ba yung tingin nila, yung definition din nila ng security of tenure, at anong plano nila sa ating mga government workers?
Yeah, can I recognize Mrs. Esperanza Ocampo would like to say something? Yes, ma'am.
Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat, Senator Villa, Senator Villanueva, and Senator Gatchalian, of course, for inviting the government employees in groups. We are representing the Philippine Government Employees Association, and with us is also our legal counsel, who is, submitting our position. I will not discuss in detail because I know the time of the honorable senators are very important. And for this meeting, what we want to achieve is a clear instruction or agreement or consensus between, the legislators and the stakeholders and the government. Thank you for Senator Villanueva for talking about what happened to the security of tenure. I'm also coming from the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, and it's really hard. But it happens for the private employees. We in the government have also filed our SOT or Security of Tenure Bill together with other federations in the government. However, naupuan po ito, hindi ito umandar in December, but this time, with the opening of the Congress, our Congressman Mendoza have filed a bill on SOT. And I don't know, with Senator Villanueva, how much hope we can see if we will look what happened to the private sector. Anyway, I don't want to blame government on this because we are coming from the government also. We are government employees. It is our duty also, okay, to not only advance our interests but to protect government. And I do hope this kind of thinking among government employees, we have to dedicatedly, serve the government. So, I've been hearing, siguro ang maganda po rito, ako'y nalulungkot pero pwede po bang ganito yung gusto ko i-present lang. Hindi ko babasahin po ang position paper, pero isa lang. Question, may need ba? Need. For a salary increase. Napakasimple na sagot. Huwag na tayo mag-aral pa. Dahil maliwanag maraming hindi kumakain sa tamang oras, even among government employees. Totoo yan. Nakasanla, binanggit, nakasanla ang ATM. At alam niyo ba, hindi lang yun, dagdagan ko kayo. Based on our study, hindi lang nakasanla po. Sila, ilang kaso na ang nakadibilin sa mga trial for regional o municipal trial court or whatever, na dadamputin na yung government employees. Paano po alam niyo? At yun ay may urgency. We have to address that. Not only by solving the salary requirements that is needed. Second, parang walang kaalaman natin na itong kalagayan na magagawa sa pamahalaan. Bagamat sinasabi natin na yung mabababa, lahat ay nangangailangan ng salary increase. Kahit kayo po na po dyan sa harapan ko ay kailangan ng salary increase. Anyway, pero I'm happy to hear Senator Gatchalian. I'm happy to hear Senator Gatchalian point based on this data na mas malaki pa ang kinikita ng mga private, ng mga public school teachers kaysa sa private. Ngayon, kung totoo man yun ulit din na ito mga kasamahan ko, ngunit isa lang po ang sasabihin ko. Diba, hindi naman masyado nakakataka yan. Dahil itong presidente natin, ilang increase ang ginawa, hindi naman na pinabayaan unang-una ang military at tapos ay ang mga teachers. At ang ibang sektor, para bang hindi nag-exist. Diba? Anyway, huwag mo kayo magagalit
That's
sa
why
akin.
we're here. That's why we're doing something.
Yes, sir. So, addressing the questions of need, huwag natin pagtalunan na tayo kasi nagana. Okay. Second, funding. Bakit pa mo natin, nagawa na ng BBM o ng gobyerno in the past to fund SSL4, kami po ay parte mga proxy doon sa SSL4. At siya po ay talaga namang pinaghirapan. Ngayon ito, tatawagin natin SSL5. Ilang tranche, 3 taon, pero nangangailangan na unang tulong ang magagawa ngayon, sir. Alam nyo, kami ho ang posisyon namin wag na natin pagtalunan to, urge the government, the President, and Senate and Congress to immediately increase by 2020. 10% kung 10%. Pero yung 5%, kung wala kakalungkot po yun, wag na yun.
Yung pong kaya nga po tayo narito ngayon, sabi niya, narinig po namin ang tinig ng bawat isa sa inyo. Dahil kung pagtatalunan po natin ito, kulang po ang buong araw.
Kaya nga po, sir.
No? Alam po namin ang nararamdaman ninyo, kaya po kayo narito dahil kailan kulang ang sahod talaga. Pero siyempre, ang importante, kung saan natin kukunin yung pondo. That's why nandito ang TBM, dinidikdik natin ang TBM. Hanapan nyo ng pondo dahil 5%, sabi nga. Pero alam niyo yung pinropose ni Senator Bongo, kumbaga, yun na yung immediate available na yung funds na yan. Pero sabi nga, kulang pa. Yun po ang hanapan natin. Pero maganda po yung, si Senator Bongo mismo ang nagpupush na, siya yung namumulit sa amin, Senator Bongo, i-hear din natin yan. So talaga maganda rin yung kanyang motibo. So, basta, pumasa po kayo, nandito po kami, nandiyan. Senator Gatchalian, we will do everything para maitaas ang sahod ng mga kamahal ng pamahalaan. Okay? Okay, Lerong, Miss Sarah Lerong. Okay, Senator Gatchalian.
I have a very basic question. Is that magkano makakailanganin dito sa proposals na ito? First tranche, so completely financed SB 49 and SB 200.
We will be submitting the data.
I think that is the most basic question that we need to answer today.
We are finalizing.
Pwede bang ma-compute din po ngayon before we... Kasi we're tackling a bill, but we don't know how much is the bill. I think we should answer answer that question first.
We will submit the data, Mr. Chair, after the study has been completed.
Can you submit it before the end of this hearing? Kasi pinag-uusapan natin kung hindi natin pagkano pa kailangan.
Within this week, matatapos yung study ng release our skills on Hawasson. Then, we will be submitting our business.
So you have to tell your staff to do a better job dahil alam niyo naman pag-uusapan natin itong bills na ito. Dapat pinupin niyo so that we will have full idea. Eh kung kaya naman i-finance next year, i-finance na po natin next year.
Yes, we will be providing data.
But we don't know the cumulative amount. So we don't know what we're talking about.
We apologize, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, within the end of the week, yes, it's usually
Pwede ba bigyan nyo kami ng data regarding doon sa first tranche, for example, yung kay Senator Recto, kung magkano yung kailangan pa natin?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
At sino ba? So we can proceed to our next agenda dahil napakahaba. Ito po itong ating i-discuss ngayon. Sige, last na. Sino? Oh, Sarah Lero. Go ahead.
Okay, tinawag mo na po ako, Senator. Maraming salamat
You have the floor.
Ako po ang presidente ng Non-Uniform Personnel Association Incorporated. Taga-Cavite po ako, constituent po ako. Opo. Opo. We totally agree with the stand of PSLink. Actually, we are a member of PSLink and we are newly accredited labor organization in the PNP po. We have more than 11,000 rank and file employees and more than 9,000 members po ng aming association. And kasi po when I attended the forum in UP Diliman, kasi I'm taking my master's in UP Diliman, we have a forum on Industrial Revolution and we were asked, everyone thought, when I said that I am from the PNP, everyone thought na kasama po ang non-uniformed personnel sa increase ng mga pulis. Nabigla po sila na malaman nila na hindi po kami kasama dahil kami po ay civilian. We are under the CSC daw po. So, we have the same actually issues and concerns with regard to salary increases. And yung mga nakaraan pong increases na binigay sa amin in 4 tranches or 3 or 4 tranches, mga 500 na po. Senator, Your Honor, hindi po yun naramdaman. Kinain lang po yun ng inflation. At sa katotohanan po, nagbigay na po ako ng survey sa mga unity po. Halos lahat po ng mga non-uniform personnel po namin ay baon sa loan. Lahat na lang ng may live, peace live, ups live, lahat ng may live sa PNP, AFP, na utangan na po. At hindi lang yung pati ATM nakasanla. Sa hanggang maaari po sana kung magbibigay po tayo ng increases, sana po isipin nyo yung salary increases ng salary grade 1 to 17. That, ang pagkakaintindi ko po kasi noon na nagkaroon po tayo ng SSL is to narrow the gap between the salary grades. Pero ang nangyari po, mas lumaki pa yung gap. So, nasaan po yung katarungan doon, hindi po ba? Hanggang ngayon po may SG1 pa sa amin at ang pamilya niya. Paano mo po buhay ng SG1 na salary? Ang 5 miyembro ng pamilya. Kahit yung lang po hindi niya po yun mabubuhay. Kasi when I was studying back in 1990, college ako nun, ang sabi sa economics namin, in order for you to survive a family of 5, you should already have a salary of 15,000. My God, ang magkano po bang SG1 ngayon? 11. Eh dati no 1990s, 15. Parang paurong po ata tayo. Alam niyo po, ang trabaho po ng mga non-uniform personnel sa PNP, hindi siya regular job na katulad ng isang government agencies. May mga namamatay po sa hanay namin. Lalo na yung mga naka-assign po sa mga police stations. Pag sinusugod po yan ng mga terorista, hindi naman po kikilalanin ng bala na NUP yan eh. Tatamaan yan, pwede ba siyang uro dahil NUP siya? Hindi naman po, hindi po ba? May mga nag-duty po kami, mga crime registrars po namin, sir, kasi real time po ang recording ng crime. So yan, 24 hours nag-duty, until 72 hours dire-diretso. Papapasukin pa yan ng Saturday o Sunday, lalo na pag nanareport, dahil kailangan requirement yun. So, sana po, napag-aralan natin ang gusto yung pagbibigay increases. At sana po ma-recognize ninyo yung mga trabaho po ng mga non-uniform personnel po, hindi na po sa PNP, pero lahat ng public safety agencies dahil iba po ang trabaho namin. Although we're non-combatants, pero nagdadamay po kami. Yun lamang po.
Okay. Siguro po, kung bibigyan ko kayo lahat ng chance magsalita, kukulangin yung ating oras, ano? Submission na lang yung inyong position paper. So, don't worry. A-action lang po namin yan. At hindi po namin kayo papabayaan. Okay? Senator Villanueva, baka meron pang addition for the first event at kalipat na tayo sa second agenda.
Siguro sir, Mr. Chair, yung mga hiningi natin na data, yung pong binanggit natin kasi nakakalungkot po kasi na pinag-uusapan natin yung salary range tapos sasabihin wala tayong yung perennial na marinig natin, wala tayong pondo, hindi alam saan kukunin, etc. Hanggang ngayon, hindi natin alam kung magkano. Pupunta tayo sa hearing, pupunta tayo sa hearing sa Senado, we're not ready. Dahil hearing dito, hindi tayo handa dun sa mga data na basic na definitely tatanong sa atin. Yan po yung dahilan, Mr. Chair, kaya nakaka-disappoint and hopefully yung next hearing, mas maghanda po tayo kasi mahirap po na mag-hear tayo ng mag-hear dito tapos lagi next week, next month, or until kingdom comes yung hinihingi po natin. Mahirap po yun, baka yung salary is baka until kingdom comes din, mahirap po yun, support naman sa akin. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so take note of that. You said now.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will submit the necessary documents.
Yeah, dapat kasi handa tayo. Sana binastrak mo na yun para present mo na sa akin gagawin yung study na yan.
Yes, we were trying to push it fast, Mr. Chair, but the contracting party has not yet finished. So we can insist.
Sige, recognize ko lang sa si Mr. Dasmariñas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, and members of the committee, kay Senator Joel at kay Senator Gatchalian and the rest of the members, honorable members of the committee. Doon po muna sa na-raise po kanina ni Senator Gatchalian na i-compare daw ang sweldo ng government employees sa private sector. Actually po, the honorable Senator, may problema po sa private sector dahil po sa pagpapatupad ng regional wages. Palayo ng palayo ang rehiyon sa NCR, pababa ng pababa ang sweldo. Ang tinitingnan po namin na wage kung mayroon mang pagbabatayan, ang Philippine Constitution po mismo, ang sinasabi po na living wage. Sabi po ng ibon, 1,004 per day or 23,660 per month ang living wage. And in fact, kinorek po nga po ito ng Secretary General. Sabi po ni Secretary Pernia, 42,000 pesos ang kailangan ng family of 5 para magkaroon ng living wage. So ang tingin po namin siguro, ang pagbatayan mismo ng living wage. As it is now, SSL4 very much skewed in favor of the executives. Kasi po sabi po ng ibang resource speakers dito, ang binigay po sa lowest rank government employee grade 1, step 1, from 9,000 to 11,068. That's practically only 2,000 pesos in 4 branches. So 500 lang po sa isang buwan, 20 pesos lang po sa isang araw. Kulang pa po yun sa pamasahe sa LRT. Tama po nagsabi kanina ng speaker na our take-home pay cannot take us home. Yun po. So, ang panawagan po namin, dapat baguhin po ito. Secondly, sa local government units, dapat po siguro tanggalin na yung, kasi sa lowest rank local government unit, sa SSL4, binibigyan lang po siya ng 65% of the SSL. So kung mayroon kang 10,000, 6,500 lang po. At tapos ang lowest rank na cities and provinces, 75% lang po. So 7,500 lang po. So parang may tinitingnan at tinititigan samantala nagsasabi naman po ang salitang batas na dapat salary standardization. And thirdly, ang SSL1 or RA 6758, nagbigay po siya ng mga categories lalo na sa government or uncontrolled corporations. Na mga GFIs, government financial institutions, pinayagan po sila na hindi sumunod sa SSL rates. And incidentally, ang proposal din po ngayon ni Secretary Recto, sorry for that, kay Senator Recto na exempted po ang mga government under control corporations na under po ng GCG. Lungkot po kasi marami po ang government corporations na masasabi natin na hindi earning, lalo po yung mga service corporations kung tawagin niyo po, PCA, NFA, etc. Kaya dapat po pare-pareho lahat. So ang aming po recommendations, bali po una, dapat magkaroon po ng national minimum wage for all government workers from the local government units, national government agencies, state colleges and universities, and the government owner controlled corporations. Secondly, dapat po isang bagsak po siya kasi sabi mga po ng ibang speakers po kanina, ang inflation rate, etc., they do not come in tranches. Kaya po dapat po siguro isang lang. And to repeat the statement of the Honorable Chair, Senator Bong, sabi po niya kanina, no less than the President himself in his SONA, State of the Nation Address, nagsabi na po na dapat bigyan na po ng dagdag na sahod ang government employees. Secondly, ang tingin po namin dapat ang national minimum wage for all government employees na 16,000 at saka kung sakali mo po, ang salaries those occupying the higher positions, graduated na lang po ang increase. Hindi po tulad ng SSL4 po ngayon na napakataas po ng increases na nasa matataas na posisyon. And thirdly, sabi po natin na dapat ang local government units, huwag na po sila tanggalin na po ang provisions ng RA 7160 at Executive Order 21 series of 2016 na yun nga po sinasabi ko kanina na 65% or 75%. Sinasabi po natin dapat equal pay for equal work, dapat pantay-pantay po sa lahat. Fourthly, dapat po na kung sakali man po ay bigyan na ng subsidy ang LGUs sa General Operations Act sa miscellaneous personal benefits para po ang local government unit employees pareho rin po ang sweldo sa amin. Nakakaawa po, malayo na nga po sila sa syudad, ang layo pa lang lalakarin, pero ang sweldo nila mas mababa pa kaysa sa mga nasa syudad. Fourthly, ang sabi po namin, kinakailangan na ma-implement next year, ma-implement next year, at sabi nga po ng ibang speakers dito, na dapat po may periodic review ng adjustments. Kasi sabi nga po natin, practically every day, nagbabago ang inflation rate, etc. So with that, hopefully, maipatupad po ito. And of course, we respect the positions of the senators as regards the increases, specifically for the entry positions of the teachers. Although sinusuportahan namin ang entry position ng teacher dapat na maging 30,000 at saka yung instructor 1 na maging 31,000 and of course the entry position dapat ng nurses na dapat 30,000 and another entry position for the doctors. And with that, hopefully ma-adapt po ito ng Honorable Committee ng Civil Service and we thank the Honorable Senators in advance for the increase that we will be having by first day January next year. Thank you very much.
We will take note of that. So yung mga position papers ninyo makisubmit na lang sa ating committee at don't worry, we will discuss this sa lahat. No? Magkakaroon tayo ng technical working group to work on this. So, okay.
Mr. Chair, just to, parang nakita ko sa comment ni sir that well-researched and well-studied yung inyong mga suggestions. And in fact, some of them I support. You know? And in fact, ang aking perspective, government should always pay better than the private sector. So
Thank you for that, Mr. Senator, Your Honor. We will be submitting to the committee.
Natanong ko lang, dun sa lahat ng sinabi mo, no, magkano pa kailanganin ng gobyerno para mabigay lahat ng yung mga sinabi mo tayo?
Your Honor, ngayon po kasi sa GEA meron 31 billion. Pero sabi na po namin, sinasabi naman po, except the DPM, of course, sorry, with due respect to the DPM, sabi po palagi, pag may gusto, may paraan.
But how much? No? All of those, what you said earlier, magkano kailanganin para mabigay lahat yung sinabi mo?
Ang last tranche po na Senator, the baseline will be the last tranche of the proposal of Senator Recto that we want implemented by next year.
So how much in peso value?
I don't have the correct estimates as of the moment, but I suppose if
Hindi
the
ka rin
Senate,
ready, ha?
if the Senate will push for the Senator Recto's proposal, the third tranche, I suppose we have the money for that.
The reason why I asked you, Chair, just to conclude is, of course, as senators, we want to support our civil servants because my view here is, pag maganda at mataas ang moral ng civil servants natin, it will translate into good service. But we also need to study all of those proposals. And please help us study. Dahil it seems to me that even Foundation is an economic researcher. Magpa-compute kayo sa kanila kung magkano ang kakailanganin because we can always demand. But we also have to know where to get the funds and how much those demands will cost. Because all of these are equivalent in terms of peso value. So kung pinakamaina po, tulungan niyo po kami mag-compute kung magkano yun at tulungan niyo na rin kami sa kukunin. Dahil pag tumaas po ang isang bagay, kukunin yun sa iba.
Yes, Your Honor. By the way, for the information of the honorable senators, meron na lang pong bills in the lower house. Ang bayan po namin, pinila po na bill na 16,000 national minimum wage. And there are also specific bills for the nurses and the teachers, and of course for the non-academic and non-health workers or the clerical and manual positions, meron na rin po. So, sinusuportahan din po namin yun, and we will gladly be of help to the Senator sa pag-compute po up to the last centavo kung ano ang kailangan at kung saan po siya pupunin. Thank you for that, the Honorable Gatchalian.
Thank you, Mr. Dasmariñas. I'd like to recognize the presence of Senator Bongo. And pararating lang, ni Yusek Chunisita Umali. So, Senator Bongo. Okay, Senator Bongo is recognized.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Morning po, fellow senators. Lahat po ng mga kasama namin sa gobyerno narito. At lahat po ng mga teachers group as promised by the President during his previous pronouncement about this increase sa salary. Good morning everyone. Each day our government employees continue to make important and unquantifiable contributions to ensure our physical safety and security and the continued and robust growth of our economy. In recognition of their invaluable contributions, our civil servants, the people who dedicate their everyday lives to the service of the Filipino people, must be given an opportunity to pursue a career in the service that will allow them to enjoy competitive wages enough to address their personal needs and that of their families. As promised by the President, the government will continue to look after the welfare of its employees and grant salary increase to all civilian employees, including teachers and nurses. Holistic na po ang approach natin dito. Maybe hindi po kayo sasang-ayon. Lahat, hindi naman natin pwedeng i-please lahat dito sa usapang ito. Kaya lang po, we intend to provide competitive and equitable pay to attract and retain competent and committed civil servants while also keeping it affordable and sustainable. Mr. Chair, the proposed salary adjustments will raise the pay of government personnel to a level closer to market rates while giving priority to the rank and file positions in the sub-professional and professional categories, especially the teachers. An adjustment in the basic salary will also result to higher take-home pay as benefits such as mid-year and year-end bonuses will also increase. The salary increase will be implemented in 3 tranches from 2020 to 2022. 31.1 billion has been included under the miscellaneous personal benefits fund in the proposed 2020 budget for the implementation of the first tranche salary increase. Once passed into law, the government increase will benefit around 1.4 million civilian personnel in the national government. We will work closely with the executive branch in refining the provisions of the proposed bills to increase the salary of our government personnel. Lastly, allow me to thank each and every employee from the highest post to the lowest ranks who has dedicated himself each and every day to the service of the country and the Filipino people. Since lilipat na po tayo sa another agenda, ito pong napag-usapan na po namin. I'm from the executive po. Galing po ako, mga kasamahan ko rin po yung... May mga taga-DBM ba dito? DBM. Initially po na pag-usapan po yata ito sa kabinete. At nag-set na po sila ng budget dito. Ito po yung tatawagin nila ng 5th tranche na po ng salary standardization.
This would be
SSL tayo.
Yes, nabanggit rin po ito ni Pangulong Deped during his summer.
Okay, you have any questions para po sa ano natin? Okay, so before we proceed sa ating next agenda, yung position papers niyo po, pakisabihin na sa ating concept so that we can proceed to our next agenda. Yung DILG, gusto ko lang marinig ng sabang DILG. Aldana. Ma'am, ano po ba masasabi niyo sa SSL 5? Anong kakanamin ba ng mga LGUs to? O magreklamo ba sila? Meron ba kayo na-repeat na ano?
Mr. Chair and honorable senators, for the LGUs, these are dependent on their ERA, and there's already a cap for the PS. That's one disadvantage of the SSL because they are limited to the personal services cap, and they should not exceed 40 to 45% of their personal services component or funding requirement. But my position paper as represented here as for the government employees, because the LGUs already have this Mandanas case, and their ERA will definitely be increased, but the DBM stand on this will be implemented in 2022. Yes, sir. But for the government employees as represented, the Senate Bill 49 proposed an adjustment of the salary schedule of civilian personnel in the government. But however, the adjusted salary is deemed unfair and inadequate as represented before by some of the speakers because this will just be a 10%. This will be unfair specifically for salary grades 1 to 16, which comprises about 84% of the government workers. So yung increase will just be minimal for those salary grades 1 to 16.
Submit nyo na lang
Oh,
yung
sir.
position papers
Yes, sir.
para mas mapabilis natin so we can proceed to our next.
Yes, sir. So that's
That's it.
standing for the LGUs as well. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's proceed to our second agenda. Ito po yung ating second cluster of bills. The agenda is regarding the proposed increase in the salary grade of teachers and other additional benefits. There are 9 measures filed by our colleagues seeking to increase the salary grade of teachers and provide additional benefits for them. Yesterday it was manifested in plenary session. Senate Bill numbers 37 and 104 were referred to this committee. Both bills are proposing to grant increase of salaries and benefits to public basic education teachers. Let these bills be incorporated in the agenda of today's hearing. May we ask the Secretary to read into the records the said bills that will be discussed today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the increasing salary grade for teachers and our additional benefits, we have Senate Bill number 19, introduced by Senator Franklin Drilon, which provides an act to enhance the performance of public school teachers and higher education teaching personnel. Senate Bill number 115, introduced by Senator Lourdes Nancy Binay, which provides an act increasing the monthly minimum wage of public school teachers to 28,000 pesos and non-teaching personnel to 16,000 pesos. Number 3, Senate Bill number 131, introduced by Senator Sani Angara, which provides an act upgrading the minimum salary grade level of teachers from salary grade 11 to 19. We have Senate Bill number 302, introduced by the Chairman, Senator Ramon Bong Jr., which provides an act increasing the salary grade of public school teachers from salary grade 11 to 15 and providing funds therefore. We have Senate Bill number 178, an act increasing salary grade of teacher 1 to teacher 3 and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Sherman Gatchalian. Senate Bill number 466, an act providing for a 10,000 pesos across-the-board increase in the basic monthly salary of all public elementary and secondary school teachers and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Redford. Senate Bill number 905, an act providing for a higher salary grade level and granting retirement benefits to all public school teachers and providing funds therefore. And then we have Senate Bill 37, which provides an act providing for additional support and compensation for educators in basic education, and Senate Bill 104, an act providing for additional support and compensation for educators in basic education, introduced by Senator Zubiri. Those two bills which I read were later filed yesterday.
Okay, thank you, Secretary. Okay, let's go direct to the point. Okay, DBM. Kaya bang pondohan itong salary increase ng mga teachers? Alam naman natin, diretso na agad tayo. Sa dami na ating i-discuss, huwag na tayo magbulahan dito. Ganun talaga. Sige po.
Sir, on the
Ma'am, Assistant Director Maria Lourdes Agano.
Sir, on the part of the DBM, we do not support the 13% salary grade of teachers. Kasi ang compensation po natin, it's based on really a study. So ang kinoconsider po natin, when we determine the salary grade, we consider the nature of work, the skills and knowledge and responsibility. We have 10 position classification factors that were incorporated in RS 758. Kasi po, ang mangyari po, yung proposal as teacher 1 is, if gagawin po natin siyang SG50, pareho na po siya ng salary grade allocation ng dentist, and it will be just dentist 1 po. Pag ginawa ang 11 po to 15, and it will just be a salary grade lower than a medical officer 1 according to the SG60.
So ano yung proposal?
So, ang proposal po namin is just to really maintain the salary grade allocation. So, ang mangyayari lang po sa amin, increase lang in salaries. Pero yung salary grade allocation kasi, it should be maintained. Kasi magkakaroon po ng discussion.
So, pag sinabi mong increase in salaries, ano pa paano?
Yung sa SSL 5 po. Pero kasi, ang salary grade po kasi, we have a hierarchy po kasi. So, pag in-increase mo po yung isa, babangga po siya sa iba eh. Correct? In-increase mo ng 11, gagawin mo 15, kapareho na po siya ng dentist. So, ang entry level na teacher 1 po, iba naman po ang qualifications ng isang dentist sa isang teacher. And then, ST16 po kasi is medical officer 1. doktor na po ang nagkano. So, medyo hindi po kami nag-aano.
So you are not
So, retain lang po sana the salary rate of teachers and just push for salary increases.
No, Mr. Chair, I'm just a little confused because if you increase the salary, naturally the salary grade will.
No, sir, the salary grade is retained but increase the salary schedule. Kasi ang di pa po ang salary schedule 1 to 30 yan. Ang pag in-increase po kasi natin ang salary grade, teacher 1 po ang salary grade 11. So ang nare-receive niya po salary is equivalent to salary grade 11. If we upgrade the salary of teachers to 15, which is equivalent to a dentist, ang marireceive na po niya is sweldo na kapareho ng SG. So ang inaano po natin is let us modify the salary schedule but retain the salary grade allocation.
Okay, kung itong kay Senator Recto, no, ano yung salary grade 11 niya, sa third tranche niya, magkano na yung magiging difference, no? Magkano yung tataas ng sweldo ng mga teachers right now?
SG19 po yata yung pinopropose ni Senator.
49? SB?
SG49.
We're talking about the increase. Sa